Hello vinyl community, this is Randy back today with another video. I picked up some records at the end of February 2022 and the first part of March 2022. So I'm going to show those records to you today. The one I'm most excited about is this record by a band called Andromeda. Self-titled album. This is from 1969. This is not the original issue. This is a 2017 reissue on Repertoire Records. This is a three-man band from England. There's the track listing. They formed in 1966. This is their only album. They recorded it in 1969. Here's the main guy, the lead guitarist, did most of the songwriting and the singing. His name is John Cann, or Cann, C-A-N-N. And sometimes I've seen it listed as John Ducann, D-U-C-A-N-N. So, yeah, this is an excellent record. I thought this was a psych record, but I was looking in Discogs, and they call it blues rock or progressive rock. So, yeah, I guess it's not psychedelic. But it sounds really good, and there's about 3 songs on here that are kind of like suites. You can see they have the main title of the song, and those are broken down into 3 parts. And yeah, this is just excellent. I would call it psychedelic sounding. Anyway, starts out with Too Old. There's a really cool line in that first song about you will walk beside the rainbow, or walking beside the rainbow, or something like that. You know, to me that sounds like very psychedelic lyrics. And really great song here called And Now the Sun Shines. Side 2 starts out with Return to Sanity, which is one of those that has 3 parts: breakdown, hope, and conclusion. And ends up with When to Stop, which is another one of those 3-part songs with The Traveler, Turning Point, and Journey's End. So this is really quite excellent. Guitar, bass, and drums, I guess sort of like a power trio. But yeah, I would call it psychedelic sounding. John Cann, the main guy, dropped out of the band after 1969 so that he could join the band Atomic Rooster. Atomic Rooster was a band that Vincent Crane, the organist, formed out of the ashes of The Crazy World of Arthur Brown. They did 1 record before this, and then they picked up John Cann. So he came and did the lead vocals. Well, some I think were done by Vince Crane too. Lead vocals and the guitar work on this. And then for their next album, he also did lead guitar and some vocals and wrote the songs, but they picked up another singer. They picked up a singer named Pete French for this record. So this was the next one, called In Hearing of Atomic Rooster. This is a very cool album cover. It shows this woman here using her hearing aid. I'm not sure what those are called. And then on the inside you see what she's hearing coming out of that hearing aid. So yeah, very cool album cover. So yeah, Andromeda, fantastic record. I was really happy to get that one. So yeah, it's a 2017 reissue on Repertoire Records. I picked up a few 7-inch singles. The first one that I have here is Misty by Eddie Lockjaw Davis with Shirley Scott. So Eddie Davis is a tenor sax player, and he I guess he and Shirley Scott were in a band together for about 5 years or so, from 55 to 60. So this is on Prestige Records. So this is my first Prestige 7-inch single, so I was really glad to get that. It came in this dot sleeve. That's okay. I have some Billy Vaughn 7-inch records, so I'll stick one of those in this dot sleeve and be on the lookout for a Prestige sleeve. So yeah, on here they're doing a version of Misty, which sounds fantastic. You can hear both of them. Shirley Scott's organ really has all this heavy reverb on it. It's very cool sounding, very kind of different sounding. The other side, In the Kitchen, Eddie Davis doesn't play on it at all. It's just basically an organ song. So that one is awesome. Got this record by Paul Desmond. He's doing 2 Paul Simon songs on here. Paul Desmond, the sax player for Dave Brubeck. I guess he did some solo albums too. So he's doing two Paul Simon records songs here: El Condor Pasa and Bridge Over Troubled Water. Really excellent. And then the last one I got is on Epic. It is by Donovan. And the A side is Sunshine Superman. Big hit song. I'm sure everybody would recognize that. And then the B side is The Trip. This is very cool. It comes with the original sleeve on Epic Records. So Donovan, singer-songwriter from the 60s. I guess maybe sort of compared to Bob Dylan some a little bit. Picked up some more albums, went by Phonolux and picked up some records there. They had gotten some new used records, some recently arrived used records into their used bin. So I found 3 really great records there, which I picked up. Boss Sounds, Shirley Man and His Men at Shelley's Manhole. This is from 1966. So in 1960, Shirley Man and His Men recorded a series of albums at the Blackhawk in San Francisco. Those were all very popular albums, I think. And so in 66, he had switched record labels. This is his first record on Atlantic Records. And recorded this album in his own club. It was called Shelley's Manhole in Los Angeles. So this is a live album with Frank Strozier playing sax, Conti Candoli playing trumpet. So Conti Candoli is a West Coast trumpet player. His brother Pete Candoli is also a well-known trumpet player. Russ Freeman on piano and Monty Budwig playing bass. So all these West Coast, well-known West Coast jazz musicians, I guess they were Shelley Man's men. So they're all doing some originals on here, and a couple that they've adapted, like Margie. But Russ Freeman and Frank Strozier wrote some of these songs. So yes, this instrumental jazz, cool jazz, I guess, is how it would be classified. Really sounds excellent. Tells the whole story of how they got together and the atmosphere there at Shelley's Manhole. Sounds like it was a very relaxed atmosphere. It was on Atlantic Records. So, very cool looking label there. Also there at Phonolux that day, no, actually this didn't come. This came from a Discogs vendor. This is a different one. This is the Jimmy Juffrey III. So here's Jimmy Juffrey. He plays clarinet on this album, also baritone sax and tenor sax. Jim Hall is playing guitar, and the bass player for this record is, oh gosh, what was his name? Ralph Pena. This sounds right. So there's no drummer on this, and all 3 of them are just working together, and I think you really don't miss the drummer at all. They really come together well and seem to know each other very well as they're making this music together, so it sounds really good. I got another record by the Jimmy Juffrey III just a couple of years ago that was a live recording from about 1965 or so, and that one, I tell you, that live recording, that's very difficult to listen to. That's you have to really give that one your utmost concentration to sort of follow what's going along in that one. But this one, much easier to follow. To me, it's more pleasant and melodic sounding. So they're mostly doing originals by Jimmy Juffrey here. I think his best known song may be The Train in the River. I think this is the first recording of The Train in the River. It's the last song on side 2. Extensive liner notes that tell all about how they got together and working together. So, Jimmy Juffrey III. This one is from 1960. Sorry, it was originally from 1957. This is an Atlantic reissue from 1960. This is a mono reissue. Really been enjoying that one. This one is on this Atlantic label. Another one of those records I did get, this one did come from Phonolux, is Herb Ellis, the man with the guitar. So Herb Ellis was a well-known guitarist, I guess, back in the 50s and 60s. He played with Oscar Peterson. He was in the Oscar Peterson trio, along with Ray Brown. And he also, I'm just reading off the back here, it looks like he also worked with Duke Ellington, Johnny Hodges, Dizzy Gillespie. So, very well-known guitar player. This is also that West Coast sound. So, this one sounds really good. He is not afraid to share the spotlight at all. This has an organist on it named Ron Frazier, who at some parts you would almost think it's his album. He really takes the lead on some. Teddy Edwards plays sax on this. Teddy Edwards, I showed a record of his that I got last year. So Teddy Edwards, a tenor sax player. So I was really glad to hear him on here. And then Stan Levy is the drummer. I showed a Stan Levy record last year that he made as the leader, as a drummer. And Monty Budwig is the bass player. So we just heard Monty Budwig's name. He is the bass player also in Shirley Man's Men. So I guess he was a busy bass player out there on the West Coast. So yeah, this is really good. These are, I mean, other than Tennessee Waltz, I'm not really sure if any of these are songs that you would be familiar with, but they all sound quite good. Easy, I would call it easy listening jazz. It's not like hard bop or anything. It's not too frantic. Here's the inner sleeve of this. Shows some of the. It's on Dot Records. Shows some of the artists that were on Dot back then. So Dot. Somebody has their address on there, but here's this Dot label. It's one of my favorite labels. I love that with the primary colors there. So Dot Records. This one is from 1965. Got this record by, it's a lot of West Coast jazz here. More Bud Shank. This is one of the ones that I found at Phonolux. It's the last one I found at Phonolux. Spoonful of Jazz. Bud Shank plays flute on this one. I think he sticks mostly, strictly with flute on this one. And he's doing the songs of the Lovin' Spoonful. Summer in the City, Did You Ever Have to Make Up Your Mind? Daydream, and Do You Believe in Magic? So he's working with the Wrecking Crew on this one. I don't know if it's the whole Wrecking Crew, but the drummer and the bass player were from the Wrecking Crew. Let's see, this is well, gosh, I thought I wrote down their names, but yeah, the drummer and the bass player. What was her name? Yeah. So this is an excellent album, though. So that's just kind of a, yeah, like I say, easy listening jazz here. So, yeah, I guess I didn't write that down. All right. So yeah, Bud Shank. Oh yeah, there it is. Carol Kay and Hal Blaine. Carol Kay, the bass player, Hal Blaine, the drummer. And this is on World Pacific. World Pacific Jazz. Very nice looking label there. World Pacific was part of Liberty Records. That's what those look like. I think this is one. I can't really remember where I got this one. I either got this at Phonolux or ordered it from a Discogs vendor. But this is the Modern Jazz Quartet with Lorenzo Almeida playing guitar. So, Modern Jazz Quartet, the MJQ. They formed in the early 50s. They, you know, pretty much did straight ahead jazz. With Connie Kay as the drummer. Milt Jackson on vibraharp, Percy Heath on bass, and John Lewis on piano. They had been touring for a while in Europe with Lorenzo Almeida, so been playing as a 5-piece band. When I think they'd done that for several months, and they came back to the United States and recorded this album. So it's not like they just stepped into the studio and were working together for the first time. They were very familiar with each other, so they knew all these songs. And some of them are written by John Lewis. 3 of them on side A written by John Lewis. On the second side, they're doing more like cover songs, and the last song is 11 minutes long, so that one really kind of stretches out some. That's the main one that gives Lorenzo Almeida a little bit more of a spotlight, but he really isn't the spotlight on this. I mean, they're all five. They're equal members on this. You can really hear Milt Jackson's vibraphone on this, and yeah, it's beautiful sound. This is actually what we're hearing in the background right now, if that's loud enough for you to hear. And then I had a couple other records that I showed in another video. It was a contest entry where I was showing the 5 most recent records I listened to, so I'm not really going to show these again too thoroughly, since I've never really shown them before. So I got this, this is the first K and JJ record. Well, it's the first one, the first 12-inch, I think. They may have done a 10-inch record before this on Prestige. This is on Bethlehem Records. Straight ahead jazz. Let's see. Yeah, they're both trombone players. Kai Wendig is from, I think he's from Denmark, but then he lived, mostly in the United States. And J.J. Johnson, also a trombone player. So they worked together for quite a few years throughout the 50s, and I think this is the first one, the first full length they did together. This is on Bethlehem Records. So I think I may have misspoken when I showed it before. I said 1951. This is actually from 1955. So this is a mono recording. This is the original. Yeah, on Bethlehem Records. And then the last one, I just was going to, I showed this one in that contest entry. So Mudhoney, this is a reissue of, I think this was their second album. It's on Sub Pop Records, and it's a 2-record set. It adds some songs that were compiled on compilation albums and some singles, along with some demos. And then I showed you the first record, but I forgot to show the second one in that video. So that one's on this very cool looking red vinyl. So yeah, this is the demos and B-sides here. So yeah, Mudhoney, Seattle area band. I guess they're classified into that grunge group of bands. So yeah, so that's it. Those are the records I've gotten in the last part of February and the first part of March in 2022. So yeah, really happy about all those records. A lot of jazz records there, so I've been listening to those some. But yeah, mostly that Andromeda record really has become one of my favorite records. I've just been playing it a lot, and I yeah, we'll continue to play it a lot. So really, really good. So that's it. I hope everyone's doing well, and thanks very much for watching. Hope you have a great day.